happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. Do better. Do better.
Well guys, we're diving back into it. I wasn't really expecting to be talking about this Lunchly drama again so soon. I honestly expected my next video involving the Lunchly to be me eating them, but I'm actually kind of running into some roadblocks there. We'll talk about that later. What we're talking about today is the member of the Lunchly trio that I didn't really touch on at all in my original video talking about this whole Lunchly debacle, KSI. Now, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, 2 weeks ago, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI announced their new joint venture, the Lunchly, which serves as what they claim to be a healthier competitor for the Lunchable. And the announcement, the whole introduction of the product, was not received super duper well. Now let's be real, this is obviously due in part to the three people who were involved in making this product. Mr. Beast is one of the most polarizing content creators on the website right now. Logan Paul is Logan Paul, and KSI has his own shit going on, and it's shit that's only getting worse, which is what we're here to talk about today. Now, if you've been active on Twitter or YouTube, even over the last week or so, I'd say, you've probably seen all the drama surrounding KSI and his response to DanTDM. If you haven't, after the Lunchlys were announced, DanTDM made a tweet expressing his disapproval of the product, and that tweet went pretty viral, and ever since, in response to that tweet, KSI has been having a little bit of a meltdown on Twitter. And honestly, I don't really think that I'm using that word meltdown too loosely here. In response to one single tweet that was made over 2 weeks ago at this point, KSI has sent out probably a dozen tweets in response. He's made fake apology videos, dug back years into DanTDM's history to try and find things to discredit him. It's kind of sad to watch, which is why that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. Starting from the beginning, we're going to be going through the timeline here, which, I mean, is not really a long one, but it is an entertaining one. So let's not waste any more time. Let's begin. Please subscribe. Now, like I said earlier, this all started when DanTDM made a tweet that was not in approval of the Lunchlys. After they were announced in response to the product, he tweeted out, "What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them do better." Okay, so real quick, this is not going to be a video about this tweet because I'm sure most people have seen it at this point. But before I start talking about the good, I do want to just say one little thing, and please don't kill me over this. I've seen the treatment people have gotten when they go against Mr. TDM, but I do just want to say one thing because I can't keep my mouth shut. I really kind of have an issue with this whole "this is selling stuff for the sake of making money" statement. I mean, that's just what a business is. That's a little preachy in my opinion, and I understand why he's saying it in this context, and I feel like if it was just a little bit more specific, it'd be completely fine, because I said something similar to this in my video about the Lunchlys. My sort of stance was they don't actually care about making kids healthier or making a healthier alternative. They just want to make money. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money, but there is something wrong with your goal being to make money while portraying your goal as making children healthier. That is an issue. Wanting to make money, though, is not. So I understand the sentiment, but this idea that selling stuff for the sake of making money is bad, that's crazy. That is literally the reason anybody on the planet sells anything, and if you don't believe that, well, then I've got a bridge to sell you. But other than that, I think it brings up a lot of good points, a lot of things I agree with, especially the idea that this is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. I brought up something very similar to this in my video about the Lunchlys, especially with how they're marketing the Lunchly versus Lunchable thing. How they would take a bite of the Lunchable and spit it out and say this is disgusting, take the Crunch Bar out of the Lunchable and say boo, this sucks, stuff like that. Because kids really don't know any better. They will see three famous guys who they look up to saying things like this with such conviction, and they will just automatically believe it's true. And this kind of harkens back to the whole point about them not really caring whether or not they're making kids healthier. They're just using their influence over children to sell a product that is well established as popular with children. Now, this is where the fun begins. KSI's first response to this tweet was just him saying, "Looks like crap to me," referencing a few collectibles that DanTDM had made in collaboration with a few different companies. Now, a word of wisdom, if you ever call somebody out for something or criticize them over anything, and their first instinct, instead of addressing anything you actually said, said is to just insult you or something involving you, you've already won. DanTDM made a fair assessment of the situation, said he doesn't approve, and explained why in very clear and understandable terms. And instead of addressing any of the valid criticism that DanTDM laid out for him, KSI just started insulting him. What makes it even worse is that this insult doesn't even really make sense. First of all, Dan's entire stance seems to be that if you're just selling something to make money as a YouTuber, instead of selling things to benefit or interact with your fans, that's a negative. Selling collectibles that his fans obviously enjoyed quite a bit, considering that there were multiple of them made, doesn't go outside of his ideology. Also, KSI has worked with both of these companies that he's referencing in the past. It makes no sense. Now, obviously, a lot of people called him out for this, pointing out how stupid this tweet really is, so KSI had to find something else. His next tweet was calling out DanTDM for a sponsorship that he took nearly a decade ago. But he was talking about food, JJ. He was sponsored, then promoted, and made a whole video on MunchPack, a monthly sub box full of food and candy to his Minecraft audience full of kids. Now what? Now this tweet was a bit more polarizing. Some people were agreeing with KSI, but honestly, I don't see how. Making a video where you try a bunch of different food from around the world in collaboration with a company, with some of that food being candy, which is what DanTDM's video was, is not the same as creating an entire company that has this facade of being healthy that was created to compete with one of the most popular children's foods in this country. There's a pretty stark difference between making a video where you partner with a food company and you try a bunch of different stuff and creating a product that you advertise as healthy when it's basically just as bad as your competitor. Saying something that's full of sodium and preservatives is somehow so much better for you than a Lunchable is misleading. Nobody thinks that candy and chocolate is healthy. In DanTDM's video, he never says anything like, if you buy this subscription, you're gonna be so much healthier. This is so much better for you than normal chocolate. Everybody knows that candy's bad for you. It's not morally wrong to try and sell a chocolate bar, but it is morally wrong to try and trick your audience full of children into thinking that your product is a true healthy alternative. Now, after this is when it starts to get even sadder. I guess KSI saw all this controversy as an opportunity to advertise his music, because his next tweet was, this whole DanTDM and Lunchly beef really shows that I'm in the thick of it. Out October 4th. Free save link down below. Really seamless there, KSI. It almost doesn't even feel like an advertisement. Now, before he goes fully into the song advertising stuff, he makes one more serious tweet, if you can even call it that. He quotes what DanTDM said about him and sort of applies it to the whole Marquise Brownlee wallpaper thing. And he says, some dumbass YouTuber said this exact same thing to me the other day. Rather than complaining, crying, and trying to cancel a YouTuber for creating a product, here's an idea. If you don't want/like a product, just don't buy it. Simple. It's always very interesting to me when people take stances like this, because they're just announcing to the entire planet that they are incapable of taking criticism. And it honestly really starts to make a lot of sense on why guys like KSI, Logan Paul, and Mr. Beast surround themselves with yes men, because they can't take criticism. They want a world where nobody ever calls them out for anything. They want to be able to do whatever they want and never get shit for it. It's the mindset of a child. And I mean, we can really see that in full display with what he does next. He starts to do this weird like mini campaign where he's acting like he's going to upload an apology video, but he's really just sending people to a song. He made this tweet saying a lot has happened these past few days online, so here I am addressing everything below, and it's this link to what's apparently his apology, but it's really just to promote his new single. He then replies to his own tweet saying the community note is a straight up lie, the apology is there, you just have to click the page a few times to get to it. Once again, people abusing community notes. Like, I don't really know what the end goal of this is. It seems kind of silly. And then finally, he tweeted, the countdown is up, the apology video is now live and ready for you to view, which unfortunately I feel like we should probably do, right?
Hey guys, a lot's happened these past few days, and I've had a lot of time to reflect and really understand everything that's happened and all of my actions. And you know, first of all, I want to sorry. I want to apologize. I want to say sorry. I can't do it. Hey yo, drink Prime and eat Lunchly, motherfucker. Stay mad, DanTDM fans. Womp womp.
Okay, so I think it's an important time to note that this is a 31-year-old man who made a fake apology video, unprompted. Nobody was asking for an apology here. I don't think anybody upset about this whole situation really cares what KSI has to say. This is just kinda sad. Nobody thought you were actually making an apology video. Everybody knew you were messing around. To think that anybody watched this thinking it was gonna be a genuine apology and you tricked them and that's so funny to you, that's kinda weird, man. You're a grown adult. And unfortunately, it still did not stop here. He made a tweet saying, "Thanks for the free promo, pussy, at DanTDM. DM me your bank details for the payments." At this point, he's responding to a tweet that's 2 weeks old that was originally not even intended for just him. And not only is he still hung up on it, he's acting like he's winning here. DanTDM has built a house in this man's mind. This is not even rent-free anymore. The man has a paid-off mortgage. KSI is so obviously bothered by this while DanTDM has said nothing since, but KSI is still trying to paint this narrative that he's in the lead here. Now, for the most part, that's really it involving DanTDM and that aspect of this situation, but that doesn't mean KSI has stopped embarrassing himself. He released a snippet of the song, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it or not. If I can, I'll do it now. If you just heard it, I'm sure you'll agree, but if you didn't, I need you to trust me on this. It's not exactly good. It honestly sounds like a commissioned song for like a FIFA title screen. It does not sound like a real song anybody would sit down and listen to. And then, on top of making an EA game soundtrack song, he said this in a podcast recently.
I don't like showering. It's just boring. Also, I just feel like surely once a week is more than enough.
No.
No. All you need to do, deodorant to cover the smell. Or aftershave. No, honestly,
No.
I bet you I don't need to shower for 1 week and you won't even be able to tell.
I mean, do I really need to even say anything? Just cover yourself in aftershave and deodorant and it won't matter if your ass smells like shit? 31 years old. Grown man saying this stuff. Bad look does not even begin to describe it. Well, guys, what do you think? Has all of this affected KSI's public image? If you say no, good luck in the 6th grade next year. I cannot imagine being 31 years old and saying any of this shit. I mean, I know these guys have enough money for PR teams. I don't know why they don't utilize them. Making this big a deal out of another man's opinion, acting like a child when it comes to making an apology or accepting criticism, saying you don't need to shower but once a week, just cover yourself in Axe. This guy's a fucking 12-year-old. I've always sort of ignored this genre of content creator, and the more I look into them, the more I learn about them, the more it really starts to make sense why their audience is full of teenage boys. They see themselves in these content creators. These guys are boys who never grew up. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.